Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your man, 100 Grand, your personal agent for change, making life easy, Barzini.
And I'm Fempreneur Extraordinaire, Tech Diva all day, Dre Renee.
And this is the Crossroads, where there's only one rule.
Be free to be you.
Listen, I almost just lost it. It's a whole ass gnat flying around. I don't know how it got in here, but I was almost like, this your man. Listen, I can't stand. I don't know what I hate worse out of flies and gnats, but them shits annoy me to no end. I'm sitting here like, and the countdown is going on. I'm ready to come in. I'm like, and yeah. And so if it ain't one thing, it's another. What's up, though?
Happy Tuesday.
Listen,
another week.
All of that. Another week, another live. It's been going up this week.
It has. It has. It's really hard to pin down like what few things we're going to talk about so that we're not on here all night long. But like, it's legit a lot.
Even though we're on the phone and whatever all week talking about it, so we legit could. So y'all, if only y'all knew, we in pre-production like all week, or we'll be having a regular conversation and she'll stop. Be like, no, save it for the show.
Right? Yeah, like don't talk about it because I want you guys to get that fresh.
That fresh reaction.
Yeah.
Speaking of fresh, shout out to my shirt.
That was not where I thought we were going, but hey.
Yeah, nah. Shout out to the noobs, the distinguished, illustrious brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and all that jazz.
Yeah, shout out to all the indies everywhere.
Right. Yeah, Dre was surprised when I came on with. I don't wear letters.
I was like, look at you with letters on. Okay.
Every now and then I let him know,
Hey, Jess.
Why I gotta get the face palm though? What's the face palm about, Jazz?
It could have been anything from you swatting the gnats to shout out to my shirt to, you've already had a couple of gems in here so far. Hey, girl.
I like to get started early, but you had your freedom.
Oh, it's for your shirt. It's for your shirt. Oh, yeah.
You like it. You like it.
Shout out to all the noobs, especially those of you who are down in Tampa taking care of the business.
Hopefully taking care of the business.
Well, yeah.
There's
that. There's that. What? Sometimes we pay and there's no business.
No. You know what? They're taking care of the business. They are men of distinction, purpose, exemplifying, achieving the never failed of human endeavor. And all the other cliches that I can throw in there when I know the truth.
Well, safe travels to those who are still traveling. And again, to those of you who are there, hope that you have a wonderful time sprinkling some business. We have some business of our own.
We do have some business of our own. So let's go on and get to it. Pay these bills. Y'all, as always, the Crossroads Podcast is brought to you by the House of 334.
It's the house.
For all your business branding and copyright needs, go to houseof334.com. It is Black owned, it is woman owned, it is a Black woman owned, and it is amazing. And make sure you go there soon because the house fills up fast. The Crossroads Podcast, I almost said the House of 334 is also brought to you by the Crossroads Podcast is also brought to you by The Crossroads. Y'all can go to our bit.ly for all of our information. That's bit.ly/The Crossroads. All of the links to everything that we're doing right now and growing and expanding as well. You can go to that and get our links. If you have any ideas for the show, if you want to be a guest on the show, if you want to be a sponsor for the show, you can send us an email at the Crossroads, not the Crossroads, at crossroadspodcast@gmail.com. Look at me messing up today. And send us any information. And if you want to donate to the Crossroads, you can also find that link at our bit.ly as well. We appreciate everybody that continues to contribute to the show to make it happen. Y'all, this is a labor of love, but love ain't free. And if you think it is, go tell your landlord that you love him and see what he say. Right. or she,
or she,
you know what I'm saying? Let's not get canceled before we really, take off. And speaking of taking off, y'all, if you are watching right now, well, I can't say if because you're watching right now. scroll down and hit that subscribe button. Set your notifications to get the notifications for when we go live, for when we post new episodes. We really appreciate that. We have lots of new subscribers on today that were engaging with us during the week and then tuning into the show. So we really appreciate that, and we want to make sure that we acknowledge the love that you've shown us by subscribing to the show, and make sure that we're giving y'all great content week in and week out.
You did that so wonderfully. I'm trying to share in a couple more places.
Just
as an extra reminder, for those of you who are on, as hashtag Boo calls, the TikTok, we are now on the TikTok.
On the TikTok.
So, yeah, if you would like to follow us there on TikTok, we are there. So please don't hesitate to look us up at _Crossroads.
Yep. And because we got new shit that we're doing,
Absolutely.
We're giving y'all the shorts. We got new content coming out. We trying to do things for y'all, and we want y'all to go on the journey with this. And we really want to hear from y'all about what y'all want to hear about on the show. So just a moment of transparency. A lot of times when we're having meetings about the content and what we want to talk about on the show and the recorded shows, it always comes back to what y'all want to hear, right? So the content is based on what y'all have been talking about, what y'all have been telling us about, that y'all want to unpack on this show. So that's what we do. This show, it's our baby, but it's y'all show.
We're like the surrogates.
Yeah, we can
but we give it to you.
Right. It's what? It's really like having the kids. When someone's about to have a kid, they talk about, oh, my kid is gonna be this and we're gonna do that, and then the kid comes and it's something completely different. Like the world decides what the kid is gonna be. And that's what's happened with this. There's things that we've wanted to talk about, but at the end of the day, we talk about what you want to hear about, right? So keep letting us know what you want to hear about.
What you respond to, right? That's really the difference maker. When you're here and you're in the comments and you're engaging with us, it lets us know more about what you want. Same for those of you who comment on our posts too. We see what things get the most traction, and so we want to bring you more of that.
Love and pop culture is what y'all love.
yeah, and it's all good. We absolutely love to see it, and so we want to invite more of you to be a part of it. By subscribing. And so you're going to hear us continue to talk about subscribing because we need you. Okay. Our next goal is really within reach. We're just about 100, a little over 100 more followers that we need to our next goal. And we know that we can make it. And so right now we are at 393. Our goal is 500. Really, tonight before we end, we want to be at 400 before we even log off tonight. So if you're watching us right now and you have not subscribed, then that is the first thing that we want you to do. Click on subscribe. So we want to shout out those of you who have: Terry Davis, David Edmond, Tammy B, Brooke Jeffrey, Cameron Miller. If you also subscribe, but your notifications or you're not public, we can't see you, but we saw the numbers climb. So there's probably another 5 or 6 of you that have subscribed since last Tuesday. And unfortunately, we can't shout you out. We don't have your name. Oh, Kamira Pitts, you sent me a text message. So I know that you subscribe, but anybody else, either put it in the chat if you're watching us, or if you're watching this a little later, put it in the comments and we will absolutely shout you out on the show. You are our roadies and we are glad to have you. So
right. So yeah, man, all that love. We got more subscribers today than we've had in a few days.
Yeah, just today. So we're glad. Right. And continue to share with others. That's going to help us meet those numbers. So let's go ahead and get started. I see some of you here, and thanks for saying hello. Those of you who are in the chat, please make yourselves at home. I put up a little post before we hopped on because I'm seeing a little phenomenon, and some of you probably have seen it too. It's called the highlight feature, right? Maybe you have experienced minding your own business and then your phone vibrates and it says such and so highlighted comments for you to check out. And then when you click on it, it takes you to somebody random's posts that you have never met before in your life, but then the person that caused the notification is underneath their post with a at highlight.
I'm sorry. This has been a thing today.
So let's go through what this is supposed to do. Okay. So the initial post that's probably attracting a lot of people says something to the effect of type at highlight to boost your friends' interaction and followers. Okay. So this is something that actually I just noticed. Friends is written with an apostrophe S, which means someone else's interaction and followers. So every time you're typing highlight thinking it's going to boost your friends, as in no apostrophe, right? Like the totality of my friends' interaction and followers, that's not what this is saying. This is saying by you putting at highlight, you are driving your friends and followers to boost that person's interaction and followers. So I just wanted to shine a little light on that because you're going to make somebody upset. They're going to unfollow you, unfriend you, block you. You think you're doing a good thing. Just stick to posting organically and tag the person that you want to see it. The everyone feature does exist. Please don't abuse that. But also, yeah, that highlight thing is not doing what you.
Yeah, when I tell you, we've been talking about this all day, and y'all, this is the nicest that she's talked about this today. I'm gonna just let y'all know. She's giving y'all the we on camera version.
That's another subscriber. I did see that you subscribed on Instagram, or followed us on Instagram. So I believe you are now subscribed on YouTube. It didn't show your name, so that's why I didn't give you a shout out. But now that I see,
welcome to the Crossroads family, all the roadies and road dogs. But yeah, so y'all been on Dre's nerves today. I'm gonna just let you. I'm gonna just
not y'all, because you guys, I'm sure.
No, not the ones that see it, but
okay.
If you the highlighters. Who have been
the yellows, the greens, the blues, and the pinks
incorrectly.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah, so that was y'all PSA. Don't get yourself blocked.
Love the tech diva.
Yeah, exactly. Love all the love with love.
The tech diva.
All right, so what we got up for? Well, not even for next.
Next. Okay, so on a serious note, because we're gonna clown a little bit tonight.
Yeah,
we are going to clown.
And y'all lucky I'm not drinking tonight. See, I'm not going there because y'all know how I get when I'm off that liquor. But we still finna get it in.
Yeah, also, go get your drink and let us know what you're drinking in the chat. What do you have?
Water.
Oh, okay.
I said I'm not drinking tonight.
Oh, okay. I missed that. I was like, that's not what we. Well, in my
so you doing to me, huh? I literally just said.
I know. I missed it. My brain is in a couple of places. Trying to get ready for the next segment, but I don't know if anybody's ever heard of mead before. If you have, please tell me what I'm drinking. So somebody made something at #BoozJob, gave them a bottle of it. It tastes like wine, but I don't know what kind of wine this is or what have you. So we'll find out by the end of the night.
Is this your first time drinking it?
I mean, it's alive. It's not a pre.
Is this your first time drinking it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Now I'm interested. What meat?
So
MEAD, MEED.
It didn't come with a label on the bottle, so I'm not sure.
What? You over there drinking hooch?
Somebody made it and put it in a bottle. I have no idea.
You over there drinking moonshine? You over there drinking some bathtub brew? Oh. Listen,
it could be. Could be.
You know somebody with a straw hat and overalls made that. Right?
That's hilarious. Well,
while
we're talking, I'm gonna do some research, but I didn't have a chance before we got on because he just brought it to me, and I was like, okay.
Just drink this.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
Wait,
Okay.
it reminds me. So sometimes I listen to my comedy playlist, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
this comedian, Kathleen Madigan, I love when she talks about her parents. So she was walking with her mom and said she had a headache. And so her mom said she just pulled out this ball of tinfoil and opened it up and gave her a pill. And so she took it and her mom goes, ooh. And she goes, what? She's like, what color was the pill you just took? She was like, I don't know. I didn't look at it. She goes, why didn't you look at it? She was like,
Because you gave it to me.
she was like, because you're not someone I met at a party. Like,
And I'm literally the other way, right? So I remember the first time my mom gave me BC powder and I didn't know what it was. And I asked, I was like, I'm gonna need a wrapper, I need a box, I need something so I can read the instructions. And she was like, it's me. Like I was like, this looks like Coke. I don't know
no,
what
yeah,
it is.
hey, but low key BC powder do look sus. You got this little some powder in a zigzag because that's what that is. You know, you want to roll some weed in a zig. Oh,
Come
yeah.
on, Jazz. I looked it up, but I'm glad I don't have. I'll put it up there for the people. Mead is made by fermenting the sugars in honey. It's not wine or beer per the Google. What I do see is that the alcoholic content can range from 3.5% to more than 20%. So I guess we'll find out where we are. I'm just gonna sip, you guys. I'm responsible. I mean, I'm at home, but I'm also with you. So I'm
probably gonna be carrying the second half of the show.
Yeah, I won't do that to you guys because what goes up on the internet lasts forever. So
Brooke in the building. Brooke in the building.
We're so glad to have you.
She's a new subscriber as well. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. So anyway,
we need to turn around because our first segment is not lighthearted, right? We're gonna start off and then we're gonna, but let's go ahead because we have to talk about it. Yeah, then we're going up.
Right. So over the course of the weekend, many of you probably saw this story. It actually started last Thursday night. Carlee Russell is a woman from Alabama, wound up calling 911 to say that she saw a toddler walking on the side of the interstate. And at that point, she called a relative to confirm the same thing, perhaps have a conversation about what she was seeing, and waited for the authorities. However, by the time the authorities arrived, neither Carlee nor the toddler were on site. Her car was left there, and reportedly some of her belongings were found, close to the car, right, nearby. And so immediately posts and prayers went up across social media. She's Greek, I believe in AKA. And so in the various Divine Nine groups or anybody that, in those circles, there were posts going up there. And then just generally, right, just as an act of goodwill, there were people who were posting, reposting, forwarding, so on and so forth. So that was Thursday night. And I believe on Saturday night, she returned home, right? So herself walked up on the porch, knocked on the door, rang the doorbell. And as far as we know, was unharmed. Okay. And so that started a barrage of posts, thankfulness, of course. Anybody who has been close to a situation where there was a missing person, that actually happened in my family less than a month ago. So if you go through that kind of thing, your immediate reaction is thank God, especially if they are returned home or they return home themselves and they are unharmed. Directly after that, though, right, social media did go up and people wanted to know, well, what happened? Where did she go? What happened to her? Was somebody involved? Did she make this up? Like there were so many things going on the internet. And so her mother released a brief statement pretty much to say, or not release a statement, I think she put it on Facebook to thank everybody for their prayers and their posts, but basically to say, please respect our privacy at this time. And we'll get back to you at a later time with a formal statement, blah, 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 blah. So again, social media is split, but what say you all about these types of things? This particular story, yes, but generally social media is a machine to get information pushed widely. You're trying to find somebody, even if it's not a missing person, right? Like, let's just say, and I've seen this before, you're at a concert, you end up vibing with somebody next to you and take a picture for whatever. I don't know why you're taking pictures with strangers, but people take pictures, don't get contact information, but take a picture and then go on Twitter and say, Twitter, do your thing, right? And Twitter has been able to find, like, oh, this is my brother, or this is my best friend's cousin's son, that type of thing happens. But in an instance where somebody's life could be in danger, right? And people take such a personal interest, how do you feel to be told, like, oh, the rest of this is none of your business. Thanks for your prayers. Thanks for your posts. And we'll holler back at y'all. Do you think like, hey, it's none of our business? We're just glad she's safe? Or do you feel like, no, we all family at this point and we deserve an explanation?
Well, okay. I'm grown. So I'm like, hey, none of this y'all business, right? Like people share what they share, you know what I'm saying? And so I feel like, yes, there's always a natural curiosity, right? For information, especially when a story is incomplete, but to say, oh, well, we helped you find her, so y'all need to let us know what's happening. That's basically what people are doing.
Yeah. Same with relationships, right? Like,
yeah.
You brought us in it when it was good, and now that y'all broke up, you don't want to talk about it.
Now that I kind of get, though. While it's not your business, you've been sharing this whole time. You feel me? It's like, oh my God, went to Paris, proposed in front of the Eiffel Tower. Oh, I got the best hat. And then, like, some people will post the downsides, or whatever. Like, I had somebody on my timeline who caught their husband cheating, and she put the whole saga, whatever. So it's kind of like, I think what's weird are people that get upset when people are in the business, but you posted it, you know. It's like if you put it out there and people are commenting or asking questions, like you opened it up for that. Now, it's your right not to answer, but to get mad at them for asking, like if you don't want people in your business, don't tell your business. Now, this is different in the sense that, I'm trying to find my child. I'm trying to find my relative, right? And so the power of social media, in that sense is different. So we don't know the story. Like, let the family find out the story first. Let the family find out if she's okay first. And if they want to share the details of it, then they will. Now, if it was something super crazy going on, I'm pretty sure the media or, the police or something like that, it'll be public information.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So let people do their job, because the same way that social media can assist in these things, it can also pollute it,
right. Especially in the case of an investigation. Right.
Yeah. So you can definitely ruin an investigation with false information. Like it's because the problem with social media is, again, it's not about facts, it's about firsts, right? And so even if you're posting, hey, this person is missing, it only takes one person to come up and lie and say, oh, she was found. And now everybody's reposting that. And then now it's like, oh, right.
And that reminds me of those of you who live in LA or from LA. Time is flying. So it was probably more than a few months ago. It was likely sometime last year. There was a fatal car crash on La Brea and Slauson, right in that intersection. And so there was a woman that was barreling down that hill towards Slauson and wound up hitting a car that had a pregnant woman, her son's father, and I think it was another kid in the car with them. So all of them perished in that accident, not the person driving the car. Anyways, before the story unfolded and we got all the details, there was somebody who alleged that she was at some sort of get together with her, like, oh yeah, we were all drinking together and everything. And then she was coming from work.
Right.
And so it was just like, no, I mean, I guess people do strange things for clout, but like, really? And in a situation again where people lost their lives and we need actual facts and details, this like literally with KTLA, like, yeah, we was together having a.
I just seen her the other day. And then even something as simple as I forget the guy's name. It's an actor, DB something, whatever, right? So now
Woodside.
there's DB Woodside. It's like, oh, there's the side by side, like, oh, can y'all believe these is two different people? And look, they're both him.
He was like, these are both me. I saw that on
yeah, like they're both him. So
yes, bro.
Yeah,
if you're lying like that, it's screaming mental illness. Yeah.
But a lot
of people just like to be
clout chasing.
And we're about to talk about somebody else that seems to have
the next segment. Listen, just stay tuned for the next segment as well, because this is what we're going in. But like, so like, just again, the power of social media and people. There's well-intended people out there, but it's a lot of ill-intended people out there as well. Hey.
Yeah.
And so going back to this case, it's like we don't know what's going on, right? One, we don't know if she was actually abducted. We don't know if there was foul play. We don't know, anything really, We would hope that it's not something like that isn't fabricated. I will say this. I'll be honest. The story did remind me of Kevin Hart's special when he was like coming up with an excuse to go to work, and he said he was on the highway and he saw a toddler walking, and then he got out and he was like, it didn't belong to somebody, so he went on this adopt a baby app and adopted the baby. And then there was a half zebra, half deer. Talking about it was a deer, so he had to take the deer back to the zoo. And so I'm like, wait, a baby on the highway? Like, this is
like, this reminds me of something.
Exactly. But one at the end of all of it, I'm glad she's okay. I'm glad she's safe. I'm glad she's alive. I'm glad she's back with her family, regardless of what happened. Right. But at the end of the day, we live in such an entitled society, right? Where I was actually talking to a friend today about ghosting, right? And her take is ghosting is cowardly. Like, you're a coward if you ghost somebody. Like, you should let them know why. And I was like, I don't think so. You don't owe them shit. Like, there's no better way to say I don't fool with you than to stop talking to them. You know what I mean? It happens, but like, it's, if we're talking like in a dating scenario, I'm not feeling it, or I've started feeling somebody else, and we kind of just fell off. I'm not gonna call you like, hey, well, the reason why you haven't heard from me in 18 months is, I think the lines get blurred between what's a courtesy and what's owed to somebody. And none of this is owed. I don't owe you anything, right?
Right.
What's this man saying?
I like what Pops has to say. People develop a sense of family, especially us in these types of situations. We know how sensitive Black people can get, right? So both sides have to be considerate of each other. And I agree with that. There are some people who are probably being nosy or whatever. But some people like really care, like what happened. And also, if it is something that happened that was unfortunate to her, those kinds of stories can then help somebody else, right? Like when you find out that somebody's putting, a substance on a windshield and you touch it and you're going to fall out and wind up being trafficked. Like, that's information that people need to know. So it's not all the time just trying to get in somebody's business. It is genuine concern, and it may be helpful to the next person. On the flip side, like I said, understanding how that feels when, your loved one is missing and depending on how long it's been, and you haven't slept or eaten or done anything but pray and cry for days, and then you do see them, probably the last thing that you want to do is, craft a statement or do a press conference or anything like that. So yes, being sensitive to both sides is important. Let's see what it says. I'm on both sides because it's not sitting right with my spirit. But like you said, glad she's okay. Yeah, and that's
Right.
okay too. There's definitely some
like there's a lot of holes in. Let's keep it
Yeah.
a buck. It ain't sitting right with anybody. I don't think those who are
Yeah.
paying attention. Some don't care either way as long as she's safe. But as far as the story goes, like the story, something's missing. But like those people that are we got to know. Like with Jamie Foxx, with people like, how come the family ain't saying nothing? Like, because it ain't your family.
I know. No,
You
I
know?
am very concerned. Like I literally pray for him. Like I actually know him.
I hope he's.
Because
Oh,
I'm like, I hope you're okay.
Yeah, I definitely hope he's okay. But the family don't. Oh, y'all, like the people that need to know. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but like people's like, we deserve to know. Like you was there when whatever happened to him happened. Like it happened on camera or something. Like you read that something happened to him. You haven't seen him in a while, and when it's time for you to see him, you'll see him. You know.
Indeed.
But yeah, so y'all keep the comments coming, keep your thoughts coming, and everything else. But we are glad that she is home with her family, that she is safe, that she is unharmed.
Right.
And we just gotta let.
And if we get more info, we will
gonna
come back and talk about it.
Because we family. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have a whole ass cookout on the show. Like, hey, so guess what happened? Guess what I heard about Carl? You heard?
We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah. And whose toddler was on the freeway? And where is the toddler? She was found. Was the toddler found? Or was a toddler found? Good. See, that's the see, now I'm going on the other side. We gotta know.
Mm-hmm. we gotta know.
Speaking of we gotta know, we need to know what's wrong with this next one.
Ciao.
So actor Moriah Mills the actor or the adult film star, because I can't call her an actor. This y'all, she has released a video accused. It's not funny, but it's funny, y'all. I'm sorry. The video is funny. She's accusing Zion Williamson. So for those who don't know the story, she was in a sexual relationship with Zion Williamson. Zion had subsequently popped up in photos with another lady having gotten her pregnant. You know, he's about to be a dad. Moriah Mills took exception to this because they had something going on. I guess she was supposed to be moving to New Orleans near him, where he was supposed to be lacing her with a 6-figure a month allowance and such. Mm-hmm. And she was going on a series of rants via social media, pretty much trying to flame him. Like, you know, he did this, he did that. She started sharing some of their sexual exploits. She started threatening to post video of the two having sex if the New Orleans Pelicans, the team he plays for, didn't release him or trade him rather. And there was a video of her getting his name tattooed on her face. We don't know if that was a permanent tattoo or not, but there's a video of her tattooing his name on her face. Just a whole lot. And so her most recent is she's posting a video alleging that he beats her or had beat her in the past. And there are tears flowing. She's got shades on,
but not really. Yeah, I was like,
listen, she reaching under the glasses like ain't not near tear. The cry is so contrite, like she's trying to cry. It's the word. Listen, it looks like the beginning of a porn video. Like he's about to come in and apologize, and then they just start having sex. That's how bad the acting is. While I'm sitting here snatching the cord out of my headphones. But yeah, it's bad, y'all. It's super bad. I'm sorry.
And the reason why, you know, wanting to talk about it, but in a wider sense, as we do most of the stories that we bring here, because we've heard, at least in the past few weeks, right? I think this is like the third accusation of some sort of assault, right? Last week, while we were talking about something else, somebody dropped an accusation in the chat that we validated on Google And then that was with Jonah Hill, allegedly kissing an actress back when she was 16 years old, kissing her without permission. And then, of course, we all know and had been talking about the accusations against Jonathan Majors. And unfortunately, like, these stories they're not new, right? Like, we hear and see these things on a repeated basis. And when I saw this one, and I'm generally like, don't question the victim, right? Because I'm like, I'm not going to do that, because you never know. But I saw this and I just was like, I don't feel it. I don't feel it at all. I don't know if it's because of all the other things. I think it's more so about that, like the way she came out with all these other stories. And it just seems like she wants to continue to up the ante until she gets attention, right? Like when she came out to blast him over the baby, people paid attention, but they weren't trying to cancel him about it. They're like, I mean, you let this 22, 23-year-old dude get you, like this. He was getting props. Like, meanwhile, he's over here with a whole family or whatever. You over here looking ridiculous. And then it just kept going on and on and on. And now to the point where these accusations are on the table. And I just want to say, anybody that abuses, assaults, someone, they definitely deserve what's coming to them. But for folks who lie about that, like, what comes to them?
Right.
You can absolutely destroy somebody's life. Like, we talk a lot about cancel culture because we're talking about celebrities, but like your regular real life, if somebody says this about you, you can't go back to how things were. Like, you're always going to be like, oh, so-and-so that got accused of blank, blank, blank. And I just think that's horrible.
Right. It's hard for me when we say like, oh, we want, like, the knee jerk is to believe. I can't even call him the victim. It's because it's the alleged victim, right? And we've seen lying too often for me to just outright believe somebody. Like I said, like 2 of the 3 that we just named. Well, at least one, like Jonathan May, we found out that's not true. That, as a matter of fact, you know what I'm saying? And so we look at these things and we have to ask ourselves, who's really the victim, right? Jonathan Majors is a victim.
Absolutely.
You see, so like we look at it like if somebody was assaulted, we say, hey, they're a victim. But then when we find out it's not true, we never look at the person who was lied on as the victim, right? And so there are a lot of people who are victimized, especially what's lost, because again, if you can make God bleed, people will cease to believe in him, right? And you never recover from these accusations, which is why, like, when you get like these massive sexual assault cases, it's not enough for them to get one. It's like, oh, there's 20 other people that said the same thing. Like, why do they do that? Because it's not about truth, it's about narrative, right? If we can just create a hint of belief that it could have possibly happened, right? Because notice every time there's lately, like, you don't see sexual assault cases with just one person these days, right?
Right.
It's always, oh, there's 50 others. Like, really? And so let's look at like Deshaun Watson, right? And they're all a perfect storm. You see what I'm saying? So Deshaun Watson, when he was playing for the Texans, before the sexual assault case accusations came out, what happened? He wanted to leave the Texans, right? Who brought the charges against him? Tony Busby, who was a personal friend of the owner of the Texans, who also recently lost the mayoral election till, so it's like, let me do this thing so I can get my name. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, Houston, I'm going to deliver the guy that wants to leave the team, your star quarterback, because Houston loves their teams. You see what I'm saying? So Deshaun Watson says, I want out. I want to go somewhere else. And how hard was it for him to go somewhere else when with all this circling. You see what I'm saying? Now he ended up getting the biggest contract in NFL history, with hella money guaranteed, so he's okay. But I just always find it, and I'm not saying that I'm not presenting guilt or innocence. I'm just saying I find it real funny that all of a sudden when one thing happens, all of a sudden it's myriads of others that just all of a sudden come out of the woodwork. Like they knew who to call, or were you looking for them? Like where are they coming from? Like all of a sudden. So I definitely it's just a thing where you have to wait for the truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On either side. If they did it, they did it. And if it's found out to be true, it's found out to be true. I mean, we watched Kobe go through it, rest in peace.
Yeah.
But and still people say, oh, they still call him a rapist. This when it was found. Like, gosh, it was consensual, and she had 7 other traces of visitors in her undergarments. So it's a whole lot, but yet we are willing to destroy because we're upset, because we're trying to come up, and everything else. And there's just no limit to things that people will do in order to benefit themselves, to destroy somebody else. So it's crazy. I just pray that I never have to deal with anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't want anyone that I'm close to have to deal with that. And understanding how many of you have to move cautiously just so that, these types of things don't get said about you, or you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings or do something that would make them retaliate in that way. And that's pretty awful.
Exactly.
So
the reason that we've all
what the people came here for. Why y'all here? Why are you here?
We should have been eating some ice cream on the show tonight. That's what we should have had.
Yes. Come on, Brooke and Jazz, y'all the MVPs out here this evening with in the chats. So we appreciate you interacting with us. And yes, it is. It's scary out here. Just like having to tell your sons and nephews, grandsons, little cousins about how to conduct themselves with the police. Hopefully you're having these kinds of conversations as well with your boys and with your girls. We tell them, hey, let us know if somebody's, touching you or looking at you inappropriate or whatever the situation is. But we also need to talk about, how not to weaponize these things, like how important it is to tell the truth, whatever it is, right? Tell the truth so that you can be helped if you're in danger, but also don't put somebody else in danger. If you don't like somebody or somebody did something to you, there's another way to get them back. We don't have to do these kinds of things.
Yeah, because I definitely have seen too many. If you don't do this, I'm going to tell people that. Blah blah blah. That's what my mom used to say. Stay away from these little nappy head girls.
Yeah, pretty much.
Listen, I scream, you scream.
You scream. We all scream
for ice cream. So y'all, there's a post heard around the world.
Let me pull it up. I think I have it. I might be the real MVP.
Now, here's the thing. We don't even know if this is a real conversation or not.
We have no clue.
But we just know y'all have been lighting up Al Gore's internet with this here text conversation. Right?
Yep.
And poor Vance.
This is the first time I actually saw it. The name I only saw the bottom part.
So Vance is, trying to go out on a date. Apparently it's a first date, because he's saying like this is Vance. And so it looks like an initial conversation. So, he's like, I hope you had a great day. I'm excited for tomorrow. I can pick you up if you're not but if you're not comfortable with that, we can just meet there. I don't know why I'm feeling like getting some ice cream in this hot weather. LOL. Right?
Sis is like, sorry if this may come off as rude, but I don't do ice cream dates. I'm a 26-year-old woman, and a date like that seems like the absolute bare minimum for me. Meeting up would be a waste of both of our times since we probably don't have the same vibe. Best wishes.
He was like, cool. He like dodged that bullet like the Matrix. So y'all like, okay.
Yeah.
On the upside, I ain't gonna just completely flame her just yet.
Just yet.
Just yet. You know, like shout out for being honest and upfront and direct, right? If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. You're entitled to your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
However, your feelings are trash, right? Like that's because number one, he never said this was the whole damn date.
Yeah, that could have been the starter.
Matter of fact, he never even said that's where we're going. He just said, I don't know why I feel like getting some ice cream in this hot weather.
That's it.
Now that could.
And let me just say, I'm currently in. Last time I checked, it was 116. Yeah, yeah. I'd like some ice cream.
Right. We both
look at the spots of the show.
Yeah, it's like we living in the devil booty hole.
It's going down.
Yeah, it's hot in both of the places. Like, yo, it's hot. You know what I'm saying? But like, she said I didn't know about the post. Her response explains why she might be single. Yeah, like, well, she's clearly single. She's, but like, y'all, but there were so many responses that was feeling like she was feeling, like, oh, it's the bare minimum. And so my question is, why is someone required to do more than a bare minimum from someone who they haven't even met?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know you. Like, I'm supposed to be taking you out on $200-$300, steak dinners on the first date for what? Because what? Like, I really want to hear that. Like, these expectations that people have out the gate for somebody you don't know is crazy to me. Crazy to me, and you got cats, and you got dudes that are cooperating. Like somebody sent me this one video, like, fellas, if you can afford the women that want to do this, and you ain't trying to get her hair done and her nails done and blah 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 blah.
Oh, pass her to me or something.
Yeah, leave her alone. Yeah, because this dude's now, mind you, this fool got a ring on every finger. He got 50-11 chains on. All right, bro, whatever. You can have her. You see what I'm saying? But the crazy part was there's a video of Chad Johnson with Ocho Cinco, who's a multi-millionaire, who's talking about, I'm not taking you on no $300 steak dinner date. And he got the money to do it, but he's famously cheap and frugal.
Right. Right. He won't buy himself that.
He's like, I don't buy myself that, because dude was like, but you a high value man. He was like, I'm not a high value man. I'm cheap. You know what I'm saying? And so, again, first day he gave me money to buy supplies, and I cooked at his house, and he watched movies and chilled. Yeah.
I love it. And 11th anniversary. Come on, Flex. The 11th anniversary loading. Yes.
And so, like, y'all, so I put up a post, and you had a few people talking about, well, there's been a few posts where people are talking about like the bare minimum and effort, and can you be creative and stuff like that. And I'm always like this. Demands are always easy coming from someone who's not doing the paying or the planning. Like, how audacious is it of you to demand a certain level of effort when you are putting forth zero? You're not doing nothing. If you want that much, like if you want that kind of experience, are you willing to pay for it? Because most of them don't pay for themselves to have that type of experience, right?
Right.
And those who do, it's like, okay, listen, because I've also heard this. Well, I do it for myself, or this is what me and my friends do, so this is what a man should do for me. Ma'am, to you, I say this. You cannot set an expectation of someone else for what you do to yourself, because he does not feel about you what you feel about you, right? You had to go out and earn your way up to being able to do whatever it is you do, if it's buying the bags or the expensive dinners, right? You are rewarding yourself for that based on what you have done for yourself, right? So you have to deposit where you expect the reward to come from. If you want me to do it, this is where you need to deposit then. You've made no deposits. So you are expecting returns from places where you have made no deposits.
Yeah, I want an advance.
You see what I'm saying? Now, granted,
that cash advance.
somebody has to do something. Now, if he's saying, hey, I'd like to see you, I'd like to take you out to get to know you. Let's go get some ice cream, you know. And so I made the post saying, like, what can I learn about you at the steakhouse that I can't learn about you at the ice cream parlor? I'm sorry, but any female who throws out a man is basically telling the world that she's looking for some weak dude that she can control and use eventually disrespect the hell out of him. True. And on the flip side of that, a dude that's about to pay for everything has certain expectations. So here's the thing. He's like, I got this money. I'm paying for this, and this. You think he's just doing it at the kindness of his heart?
Right.
No, he got expectations, which is also a level of control, right? So all these, he got to pay all the bills type people and blah, 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 blah. You are setting yourself up to be controlled, right? Because now he's basically like, oh, well, you don't like it? You can get out. Boom, 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 boom. You have no control over your own life. And so I'm not saying don't trust anybody. Like if a man is stepping up and saying, hey, I want to do this or whatever, cool. I'm not knocking that. Different strokes for different folks. Knock yourself out. You know, listen promptly and well. You know what I mean? So, I just went on stuff one day. I liked it. I never thought twice about his income on my head. Yeah. So
I liked actually what Jazz said about her first date. You know, and it doesn't have to be like that because I know some people have issues with house dates and different things like that. But I like that it was equal in a sense, right? Like he did something and she did something. So if you're going out and, you know, folks frown at going Dutch or whatever, but that really is a way to show something about yourself and, you know, not have those kind of heavy expectations on one person. Also, I like the fact that it kind of, you know, did the gender thing, if you will, right? Like he bought the groceries and she cooked them. So if that's something that you feel like you need to see in the opposite sex, you know, to determine if they would be a good mate, I mean, there it is, you know, but there are some women, and I don't get it. I do not get it. And if you're here, maybe you can tell me, you know, that just want to take, right? Like, take me out, take me out, take me out. But yes, if a man says, oh, okay, well, what kind of meals do you cook? Or, okay, next time, you know, I'll come to your house and you can cook, or you can come to my house and cook. Then, you know, somebody's upset. And the question is like, why are you upset about showcasing something about yourself or something that you're willing to offer, but you want to see this laundry list of things that the man has to offer? So I'm all about trying to get to know people and, you know, what they have to offer, what their skill sets are, what their personality is, what characteristics they have, all the things that you learn as you're dating somebody. But I don't understand not offering that about yourself. That part, I don't get it.
Yeah, I just think we're missing the objective.
She's like, she got to see how he kept his house. I like it.
She had an agenda. I'm not mad at it. I took my husband out there. I saw you worked hard. I wanted to drink. Hey,
come on now, women.
You see what I'm saying? I don't think it's the expectation from.
But more of a, if I'm choosing between suitors and I'm looking at what seems to be the most effort to get my attention. Okay, I mean that may be something. And I'll say this is not to lie, because I don't know your situation, is not to you personally. But I will say, and I told Bars this, and I don't know if I've said it on the show, but you know, I've been on a $200 date, right? And a couple. It doesn't mean that, okay, yes, they may be the front runner to get your attention initially, right? But that doesn't mean that that is your experience clear through. That doesn't mean that even if it is your experience clear through, that you won't have some other types of experiences. Like he said, you know, the control is there. Sometimes people think that they can do these extravagant things to cover how ridiculous they are or may treat you. You know, I'm not interested in you whining and dining and then, you know, I find out that you're married or you got a whole another girlfriend or you're like all these kinds of things that may come up, or that you're just a jackass. Like that happens as well. You could throw your money around to get my attention. Yes, that may make me look like, oh my God, I've never been here. I've never had this experience. Oh, we went on a helicopter, like whatever type of things that happen. But that's not a surefire way to know that somebody is interested in you or only you. Doesn't mean that they are going to treat you well. It doesn't mean that they're a good person. Like, I'm just trying to figure out how any of those things are markers for the future. And as I've seen women that are posting here that appear to be married, and a lot even in your posts, I'm sure you're going to share some of that as well. It started off simple. It started off small. It started off, in a place where you could get to know that person.
Yeah, and also listen, I think we're convoluting effort, right? It's literally doing this doesn't mean someone will be a better maid than they've done that. Those may end up being the most trash. Like this, okay, here's the thing. It doesn't take any more effort to go to an expensive restaurant as it does to the ice cream parlor. We're literally doing the same thing. We are going to an establishment. I am pulling out a card. I am paying money.
Unless you don't have it.
Unless you don't
have the funds. Yeah.
Well, what I meant, I meant like the logistics of it, right?
Oh, okay, got you.
I've picked you up and we've gone to a place, or we've met at a place. We sit down. Actually, it's more effort at the ice cream place because we are getting it ourselves and putting the toppings on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I'd rather do the low end date and see how a person can make you do with less. The complaining and shut down those kind of things because it's important. But like it doesn't like. Okay, let's just say this. How much effort is it for me if I have mad dough? It's like it's the equivalent, right? Like if I have a little bit of money and I take you on a cheaper date versus I have a whole bunch of money and I still take you on would be the equivalent of ice cream to me because I got mad dough.
Because you got it right.
That's not more effort. I just spent more money, and that's only kin to what you make. You see what I'm saying? And so,
right, and what you're impressed by, because what if somebody else is like, "Oh, this $200 steak dinner," like,
and to a dude, and to a dude that got dough like that, he's probably taken to a place that he's been several times, and probably taken several other women too before. Mm-hmm. That's not effort. It's not. It's easy. That's easy for him. You see what I'm saying? Whereas you might have this dude that is like, "Hey, I really like you. I don't have much. I'm trying to build myself up. I want to get to know you. I'm down to my last $20 until payday, but I'd love to take you out for some ice cream." Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Now, you might not want to do that's let down to his last 20, or maybe you cool with that, whatever, because you don't have to take care of him. He's just went to payday, whatever your comfort level is. But I think we are mistaking cost for effort, right? Mm-hmm. That's not effort. Like for me, if I wrote you a poem, people are like, "Oh my God, he took time out and he wrote." I'm a poet.
Right. I just pulled a little stanza here.
Yeah, I might have pulled. That might have been an old. And you see what I'm saying? I might throw a quote at you. Yada yada yada. You feel me? So it's like, oh my God,
Absolutely. And what I mean, and Chili's might be it for a while. It might not even be like, "Oh, I take you to Chili's just to see." And I think that's the thing too. Maybe women feel like, "Oh, I got to jump through some hoops to get to the next level." It's like, that might be where he is right now.
Or I just want to, I don't know if you worth, beyond that. See, here's what I do. I really don't, ask women out and plan dates much. You know what I'm saying? Like in the beginning stages. I'll say, "This is where I'm going. And if you would like to join me there," right? So I like going to BJ's. That's one of my favorite spots. That's actually one of my dad's favorite spots too. So I'm like, "Hey," they're like, "Oh, what you doing?" I was thinking about going to BJ's. I probably wouldn't really think about going, but I'm going. Like, "Hey, you feel free to join me if you like." You see what I'm saying?
And I would say to this, go ahead. You want to read it out?
Yeah. So, well, if that's the case, that means any of these can be mean everything enough. Absolutely. Neither of them matter. Like the ice cream parlor could be everything or nothing. Just like the $200-$300 dinner can be everything. It doesn't mean anything. It means that's where they took you. You see what I'm saying?
And this is the first date. I mean, we're talking about this instance, it's the first date, right? And so there's opportunity for you to see more of the person and more of what they like to do and share more of what you like to do if you get beyond that. But in this case, this lady she didn't even see what the first date would be. We don't know if it was ice cream, if it was ice cream plus something, if it was ice cream before we get on this, private charter flight. Like, we don't have any clue what's behind door number one because she didn't walk through it.
The effort comes on how does the evening or the day or wherever time of day, how does it go? Are they paying attention to you? Are they listening to you? Are they being empathetic? Are you connecting? Are you vibing? You know what I'm saying? So no.
Yeah. And so no, you know what? I'm with it because I'm like, hey, if that's what you expect and what you want, then you have to align with somebody that wants to give it to you. I think where people come into issue is that they want to dictate to the person sitting across from them what to do. Like, if this guy is like, you're not getting a steak on the first date because I don't know you like that, or I'm a vegan. I mean, I don't know.
Or my light bill is due. I got money.
Could be that. And so, if that's not what it is, then just like the lady did, hey, we're not gonna catch a vibe. We are not for each other, and go with God. Like, I think there's nothing wrong with that, but for yourself, right? But I think there is an issue when we hold this standard and we pass this forward. Like, girl, this is what you should do. Right. The comments that I saw.
If he ain't doing this, then fill in the blank. Like
right. And I don't toss around being married like that because I literally been married for like a heartbeat.
Don't matter.
But also, these are the things that you hear from single women. Like, I have not encountered a married woman that was like, girl, you trying to take you to get ice cream, run for the hills. Like, I've never.
My dad is killing me with this female.
So also be careful, where you are taking advice. I mean, we laugh and we see a bunch of stuff out on social media, but be careful what you're actually taking as fact and truth and applying to your life.
Wait, so hold on. Hold up. I really want you to just look at the picture first and to look at the face and then add the voice to that face of what he's saying. Listen, when I'm saying he's saying this with his whole chest.
With his whole chest? Yeah.
She need to impress me. Listen. Yes. But to that point, ladies, if you having these expectations, what are you offering? You see what I'm saying? Everyone's potentially fake on the first date. Seriously, I don't know when should be making a long-term relationship decision on the first or second dates. Most people would be fake AF. Yeah. But so here's my question though. If you're saying run you that steak, blah, 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 he should do this, put in effort. What effort are you putting in? If you have expectations, what are you exhibiting? What are you exhibiting to warrant that expectation? That's what I want to know. And yes, on the first date, if you have first date expectations or second date or early on expectations, what are you offering? Right? What is
my company?
Yeah, damn all of that. Because I done been on too many first dates that never got to a second date, and now I'm out time, money, and my nerves is bad. And then didn't get no ass. You see what I'm saying? Nadia Jones, turn me up in the headphones. So, and that's the thing. And so it's like men are frustrated a lot because we're told that we have to invest, and for very little return often, right? And so, like, for a lady to get taken out on, to a fancy restaurant and money spent on them or whatever.
It's just my presence. My presence is a present. Yeah, hello. Miss you with that.
Listen, I wish I had a little swipe thing or the Denzel GIF slamming the door. Like no. So
I hope we're all joking, but there literally are people who feel that way.
Right.
Like,
But
no,
because
you
what? So
are
at the end
blessed
of
to
the
be in
night,
my
yeah.
presence.
But like at the end of the night, you enjoy your presence because you in your presence all day, every day. I didn't enjoy you. The conversation wasn't great. The vibe wasn't great. It wasn't a great date. I don't intend on going out with you again. I'm out the time that I spent planning. I'm out the money that I spent purchasing. you know, I had to endure this less than pleasurable exchange or experience. You see what I'm saying? I'm losing. You got a free meal. You may not have enjoyed me either, but at least you ain't have to pay for it. You didn't plan it.
Right.
You didn't drive. You didn't pay. You see what I'm saying? Like all of this stuff.
Now, maybe I'm at a disadvantage because A, it's been a long time since I've been on a first date, but second, my last first date, we were long distance. So we had to talk more before we actually first went out. Like, at what point are people going on a first date? Like, to me, I feel like if you can't sustain a conversation, via text, depending on how you meet, right? Let's just say text, graduate to the phone, graduate to Zoom or Skype. If you can't maintain that, why would you even get to a date, whether it was ice cream or steak? Like, are there some things that you only see by the time you're dating that you miss via conversation? Or are you just hoping it's better?
First, you got to get past how they look. Do they even look like?
Well, no, let's just say they got past that. Right? Well, no, or you assume with photos that they are good enough. But once let's just say you got to video chat, okay, or you did some sort of Google Duo or whatever you do, and you're saying we went out on a date and this was horrible. Like, what have you missed beforehand? Or is it I meet you, I immediately ask you out on a date, and my first time kind of having conversation and stuff it's I'm like, I don't know that's mine.
It varies because sometimes like the in-person interaction is often different than the text and phone interaction, right? We work together, so we talked all the time before hanging outside of work, and then I gave him my number.
And I get that because same way, right? Like we were already friends. But generally we're, in a group setting. So I was like, oh, it's going to be different to just be one-on-one. And like, what if it's not the same? Or what if it's, all of those types of things. But I still felt like when we hang out, we should have a decent enough time. Like, I never got the feeling of like, this will be a waste of my time. So that's why I was just wondering, like, when folks are going out on dates, like, what has already transpired? Have you had conversations, or is it at hello that you're like, hey, I want to, men specifically, if you're the ones that are asking, like, at what point in time are you asking for the date?
I think it depends on how you meet and how you know each other. So again, you and #boo were already familiar, it just graduated to a different type of familiarity and then elevated to a relationship. So sometimes if you're meeting, organically.
Finish your thought. Go ahead, and then we'll go right into that.
But like, you could meet somebody on the dating app. You could meet somebody like in a social setting at at the bar or the lounge or something like that, and you kind of have a conversation or an exchange. And it kind of depends on the vibe. So sometimes like if you meet them out in public, you already have an in-person type experience, and so you may say, hey, let's go out sometime or whatever, or depending on like what the vibe was, like,
so physically, if she passed the vibe physically, you'll go ahead and put your money down, even if it's a small amount. You put your money down on a date without even knowing if she's somebody that you would want to carry a conversation with over the table.
Well, no, it depends. Sometimes. Because like if I've met her, we've had a conversation of sorts, right? Like if I met her like at the bar, whatever, like, hey, I had, we did the what's your name and or like there was already some interaction. So like taking it to a different setting where it's like purposeful now to get to know one another. But like sometimes, so I've had an interaction with somebody, like we knew each other prior, but we never had like phone conversations or whatever. And so when we started out, what she knew of me, she's also Greek. What she knew of me, she didn't like, right? She, she knew,
me too.
Yeah, because people like you already remember. So people used to hear about me
like,
before they met me. Right. So
well, I didn't hear about you prior.
You heard,
but
okay,
I only knew a portion of you because of the situation.
Right. So there are some that knew the legend of, or they'll see me out but never talk to me. So like they'll see, they see this character that people respond to in a certain way. And it was a lot of people was like, without even know. It's like I'm not out there doing anything. It's just how people like respond to me, and
I get it.
I'm being Barzini, whatever, right? So then her Neo actually was like, I think y'all should talk out, So I did we took a picture together at Long Beach, and I did the whole hey, send me that. Right, because the picture was on her phone. So I did the whole send me that picture. So I got your number or whatever.
He's fine though. He wasn't a legend when I met him. The legend was building. I was in the early part.
You just didn't know.
I got a chance to go eye roll as the legend was becoming. Like, y'all are doing the most, and they continue to do the most.
But so I called her a couple of times, and she was like always busy because she still had this image of me, and so she was like trying to avoid the conversation, right? But she couldn't do too much avoiding because her Neo was like kind of pushing the narrative. So the one time she finally did have a conversation, we ended up talking for like 2 hours, right? And so now the phone conversations, she's finding out I'm not who she thought I was.
Right.
So then that turned into, we made a plan to go on a date. And so we're having that. It was like at the end of the week, like on a Saturday, but it was like Monday or Tuesday, at that point. And I remember telling her, I was like, hey, is it weird that we've never hung out, but I miss you? And I actually genuinely felt like that, right? I genuinely felt like that. And then I was like, will it ruin the date if we meet before the date? And so we met up for coffee before, first of all, I'll be performing at Long Beach. I was on stage. But no, so we had a pre-date. So we called it. So we agreed that it wasn't a date. We were going to meet up for coffee, and it wasn't a date, right? We were like, so it was like, hey, this isn't a date. We're just here at the same time talking before the actual date. And the actual date was just to the movies. We went to the movies and hung out. But like all of my situations that ended up in relationships have all started simple. They were never, well, actually, I was broke at the beginning of all of them anyway, so they wasn't going to be expensive. And one of them even paid for the first date. But like when I did do, I recall one first date, we went to Fleming's because that's just like what was nearby. I was visiting, and we ordering steaks and lobster max and
lobster mash, and
all of this, right? And I'm like, okay, and because this one, this one, I told you about this one. I was like, look. And I look up, I don't know where I looked, but I looked up and she signed in the check. She paid for it. I was like, women as fine as you don't be paying. Listen, when I tell you, I wanted to right then and there. I'm like, you got dinner, I got the ring. Let's just one of the waiters to do the ceremony. But like, but that things like that though, like you pulled out and you paid for it. That was so dope to me. Like, you fine and you reasonable and you not entitled. Or it could have been, look, let me go pay because so he don't think that he finna.
It could be that. Like, he try to leverage this check.
Exactly. So it could have been either or, but I thought that was cool either way. I just think and I've said this ad nauseum, we have to get out of these templates to thinking that people are supposed to do this and supposed to do that. And we do have that sect of women that think they're just supposed to show up. And that sect of men that think that, oh, because I'm spending money on you, blah, 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 blah. Like we have these preconceived notions and expectations instead of showing up as two people, getting to know each other. Like, can I enjoy you? Like, can we go sit somewhere and spend nothing?
Right.
And just talk?
What can I post about on Instagram and Facebook later?
Right,
I mean, that's cool too, but
Oh, let's do a boomerang. Okay,
and what if you have a date that you can't? Right? Yes, right. Click our glasses together. There are people who are happily married who probably could not detail their first date or, first dates because they weren't fabulous or they weren't social media worthy. And so if that's the way that you judge, I think that's the place that we're cautioning it against. It's just like, more about the vibe with the person, the conversation. Did you have a good time? Did you learn something new? I mean, like things like that. That would make you want to, and I love when you say this, like, do we want to have date number 2? Right? Like that's literally the goal of date 1 is
let's work toward date 2.
Is date
and
2.
What's crazy, and this kind of just came to me, it's like the
with the t-shirts.
I guess. Oh yeah. I used to do that. But like, I almost lost my thought. It's the equivalent of planning a wedding and not a marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
We put so much emphasis on the effort of the first dates or the dating and how much you spending and blah blah blah. But everyday life with somebody does not look like that.
No.
And so you're not going out for $200 and $300 dinners every night. You're not even going out to ice cream every night.
Nope.
And so the part that
let me just say, ice cream is expensive. So let's not look down.
Y'all,
especially if you're like a yogurt land type situation.
Can I put you on blast real quick? Y'all, so Dre calls me mad. Right? She called me, she like, hey, ice cream expensive. So she went out for ice cream, even though her husband had said that he was going to take her out for ice cream. Like he wanted to go and take her out for ice cream. Because there's a spot near where they live. And she was leaving. I don't know if it was coming from the gym, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
She coming from the gym.
I felt like I
earned it. Yeah, she earned it, right.
And I was home alone that weekend too. So he wasn't.
Yeah, so he's out of town. So she decides to go visit the ice cream spot near the house. She says she got the ice cream. She put her little toppings on there. She got it to the front and they rang up the price. And she like, what? But
$8.
$8. So, but the funniest part was I should have just waited for him to take me. Like, dang, how you pimping out your own husband? And it's y'all money anyway.
He offered, but it was to say, like, folks saying they don't want a date. And I'm like, I literally had somebody that wanted to get it for me. I was like, that should have been great.
Exactly. Ungrateful. Listen, and when I tell you she was legit mad, she didn't call me laughing about it.
And I haven't been back there since.
Exactly. Until he takes her.
Oh
so, like, y'all, it's make it easy. Like, if the goal is to get to know somebody, then why does there need to be all of these hoops in order to do it? You see what I'm saying? We should be able to sit down and converse because that's what life is going to be. It's sitting around talking about shit. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Here, like, and then when
problem solving, really,
problem solving
life,
together. And it's not even just problem solving, it's problem solving together because you're in this. And it may be something that's not your immediate problem, but because they have a problem in their life, it's your problem because you're together.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're coming up and something's going on with them at work, problems at work affect the home because it affects their attitude. It can be affecting the money. It can affect a lot of things. So you can't be like, dang, that's crazy. So what you gonna do?
Right.
It's what are we going to
when we go into Fleming's.
Right. You see what I'm saying? And so now, like, let's just say somebody loses their job. You still got your job. You can't be like, dang, that's crazy. I don't know how you're gonna pay your half of the bills.
Mm-hmm.
But because when you're sharing your life with somebody, I thought the goal was longevity. The food is a small stuff. Yeah, just happen. But unless you're somebody out here just trying to get meals, and we do have those,
right. I didn't.
Yeah. So y'all, it's you building relationships you have to get to a place to where it's about the both of you, not just your expectations. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's we have this thing of objective desirability that we think we showing up and we just think we dope and they gonna find me dope and they should be honored for me to be in their presence and blah 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 blah. Nah, baby. Nah.
I mean, somebody might.
Somebody might, but and somebody will. No, there's somebody for everybody. But to walk around thinking that we're just God's gift and we're the prize and somebody ought to be lucky, like thinking that somebody is lucky just to be in your presence, or somebody thinking, oh, well, you lucky I'm spending anything on you.
Yeah,
like come on.
Nobody wants to feel that way.
Exactly. Right? Like so I'm kind of like my daddy said, it's like if I'm supposed to, if the societal norm or expectation is for me to approach you, get your number, ask you out, plan a date, pick you up, pay for the date, be interested in all this other stuff, at what point am I getting any return? At what point am I finding you interesting, what you're about? How does my existence enhance and or get easier with you in it? You see what I'm saying? I blame the parents of these my son, my king dudes and main character syndrome women, like all of that. Listen, and she drive an Altima.
Sheesh.
That's the I drive an Altima. Be a musician. Most of the women I encounter ask me out. Okay, Pimpin.
Okay, the right.
Some of the best dates I had was when we cooked a nice dinner for them, or go on a walk and talk and laugh and enjoy the time.
Yeah. Because that's what it is.
I don't know why every comment I just look at his picture.
Oh,
and it's the perfect characterization.
When you really like somebody, or when you find out that you like somebody, it's generally under those kinds of circumstances. Like I remember, a date that I went on some time ago. We actually went out twice in one night because it was like, dinner was planned, and then you get in your car, go in my car, and then it was like ring ring ring, hey, I'm actually headed down to hang out with some friends at the bar, blah blah blah, do you want to show? I'm like, oh cool, and so it wasn't super, I mean, it wasn't ice cream, but it wasn't super lavish, and it was just like, I just want to be able to spend additional time with you. And so that leads me back to from date one, do I want to see you at date two? From date two, do I want to see you at date three? And honestly, I feel like the more close-knit, honestly, that you get with somebody, you probably want it to be more simple, right? Like, I don't want all the bells and whistles. I really just want to have time with you, to get to know you, to talk to you more, to not have all these other distractions. And so it does sometimes feel like, people just, I just want you to take me out on these experiences that I couldn't otherwise experience versus, spending time with you. Right. So I'm not saying that to everybody, but it definitely comes across that way in some of these posts that we see.
Right. I get it. So y'all, we can do this all night. Nothing wrong with the night out. It's the representative. Yeah. So to put a bow on it, what are your final thoughts on I scream, you scream?
I was like, I think I just really wrapped up my thoughts. Yeah. In terms of like finding the person, or finding out if the person that you're on the date with is someone that you want to get to know better. And as you do that, just really like allowing yourself to be in that space, right? Not with our checklists, and I'm saying that because that's the road that I took this last time, and like, wow, jackpot, right? Like I didn't have a whole bunch of like, it has to look like this. Like one of the greatest piece of advice I think that you gave me was like to have fun, especially because me, right? Like I'm in my head about a whole lot of stuff. Like, okay, what does it look like? What does it feel like? What am I going to do? What are you going to do? What does that mean? What do I say? What did he think about what I said? Right. And so to get to a place where it's like, okay, I'm just going to chill out and have fun and, be goofy and crack jokes and not take myself so seriously and not take him. So let's just see what this is and what this is going to be. And, clearly here we are, but it definitely has not looked like anything else that I've done. And so I'm not saying like, don't have any standards for yourself, because that's not the case. at all. But I think sometimes, when we are so rigid, we honestly don't give the other person the benefit of seeing us in a different light that they may, especially if it's somebody that knows you previously or in another way, they don't get the benefit of knowing you in a casual setting, or that you do have a sense of humor, or that, like Barzini said, like, who you thought I was, I'm not. Like, just chill out, I think, is the best way to put it, right? Stop trying to impress anybody. Stop trying to measure this up against what you saw or the last situation that you have. Just experience it. Did you like it? Great. Do it again. You didn't like it? Great. Don't do it again. Like, it was really that simple. And to somebody that, again, very analytical, it was like, is that all? Equations.
Yeah.
There's no carrying the two. Like,
there was no algebra involved.
There was not.
There
was not.
Yeah. People need to learn to just be themselves, so the person opposite them can make it.
And I think he put that picture up while we were talking, because the first time he commented, there was no photo. So I think he did.
I don't know. I don't know. I missed it.
Or maybe he signed in, and so
it's the little squint. It's the little scowl, like. Yeah. Like, watch. No. So the thing is, like, if you look at the picture, this is the voice, right? People need to learn to just be themselves, so the person opposite can make an educated decision about you and you them.
I like
Right?
it. It sounds like a radio host.
First of all, that's how he really talks.
Here goes another one. Do it again.
Okay. Social media has made everybody a damn star in their own minds, when you're really not all that to the world. These are the smooth stylings of David Hannons.
I love it. I love it.
For those who don't, y'all, for those who don't know, that's my daddy. All right.
Yeah. He can do that.
That's my daddy.
He can do that. But he's telling the truth, right? If you are yourself and you chill out, you give that person an opportunity to see you and make an educated decision. We're talking about representatives and all that kind of stuff. You're looking for their representative, but also you don't want to be a representative, right? Like, take the time to really show them who you are as well. All right.
Yes, the smooth stylings. The
yes.
smooth stylings of David Hannons. So y'all,
we love it. We love it.
Like, my daddy really do talk like that, though. When he's chilling out. Oh, he gonna be mad. I'm always messing with him. So y'all, hey, social media made people think they have more options than they really do. But social media is also giving people a lot more options because of what they present.
And they probably would have,
because you can be anybody you want on social media. You can curate your existence, but then you forget people actually have to meet you. So, for me, my final thought, like, listen, I put a post up after I put the ice cream post up. I put a post and I asked married people or people in long-term relationships, if their first date was lavish or was it simple. There was close to 200 comments, and the overwhelming majority was simple. Like, we're data driven. I work in a very data driven industry, and decisions are made based on data. And what the data has said is that you don't need to be going on lavish dates to meet the objective. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what life is going to consist of, far more simple than it is the lavish. The lavish doesn't speak to the person. It just speaks to the money that they spend. It speaks to one evening. It doesn't speak to a lifetime. You see what I'm saying? And so put your energy and effort into the things that are going to speak to a lifetime, right? And what a lifetime is stringing a whole bunch of great nights together, a whole bunch of the simple nights, right? Because everybody, like, we all know the representative at the beginning. You see what I'm saying? But when you get to the everyday version of somebody, right? Like, from physical to emotional to spiritual and everything else, like, what do you look like when you wake up? How do you act? Are you a morning person? Are you not? How do you behave when you're upset? Right? Are you angry? Are you fair? Are you hurtful? How do you respond when you're not getting what you want? How do you respond when you are? How do you show a praise and appreciation to that person? Is it ways that are going to be conducive to furthering the relationship and strengthening it? How are you as a communicator? How are you with expressing your love languages? How are you like all of these things? How are you with being transparent and vulnerable? How are you at trusting? You see what I'm saying? Like all of these things you don't find just because somebody spent $200 or $300 on a date. How are you? Are you financially responsible? And it is not financially responsible to be out here spending out of your means to try to impress somebody. You see what I'm saying? Because one of the biggest things I got in one of my relationships, she was belly aching that we wasn't going out enough. We don't never go nowhere. And so then I'm taking her out, and then I get my lights cut off one time, and she cussing me out. Why is your lights getting cut? Because I spent the money taking you out. So why you out? Then she goes, well, why didn't you just tell me no?
Yeah. See how that would have worked out.
Listen, I could, and this is the one that I was learning so much. And I had to learn the art of no. Then I just started telling her ass no all the time. And then she was always crying. So,
you started it, ma'am.
You started it. You know what I'm saying? But it made sense. Like, you have to know you and don't go out of your means, especially young men. Women will respect you more for not going out of your means and letting her know that, Now, there are some that it's like, oh, you too. If you broke, just say whatever,
Right.
If that's the case, if you're not broke, then you pay for it, so don't expect of someone what you're not willing to do. And most are not willing to do that. Oh, I'm not paying for no man. I'm not, but you expect everything to, what I'm saying? So like give and take. It ain't all about you. I think I said all that to say that it ain't all about you. And if you make it all about you, it's going to be none about you eventually. You see what I'm saying?
Amen. Because I tell you, when you really go through it, and while you were talking, it reminded me, when my dad passed and I had to walk that aisle and sit on the front row by myself when I was actually dating somebody. Yeah. All the dinners, all the fancy, none of that meant anything when you couldn't be there on one of the most crushing days. Now, I wasn't literally by myself. I did have a friend that walked with me, but I'm saying to be, be dealing with somebody, be in relationship with somebody, call yourself, dating somebody, and they would not do that.
The thing that
I'd have threw that steak back. I'd have been like, you can have this doggone steak. And subsequently, that was the end of that.
Right.
But
still, I don't think there is no better illustration. Everything that we've said in the show is summed up right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like you did all the things, but then what I needed from you,
right? Not the thing. Mm-hmm.
So with that, y'all, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. And in closing, always remember.
Oh, he definitely signed it out. I'm like,
hold up. No, I was about to say, remember to subscribe. And then because you put it up, like, you put it up as I was saying it. But y'all, like,
I was like, he getting y'all out of here.
I was getting y'all out of here. Look. But first, no, I will say this before I close it out. Y'all, thank you for everybody who subscribed today. Thank you for everybody who's tuning in. Those who are still watching, please take this link, share it with somebody, and ask them to subscribe as well. We want to I think we can get to 400 before the end of the night. If all y'all share this and ask a friend, one or two friends to subscribe, we need six people. So if you're watching it and you haven't already subscribed, go down and subscribe, share this with somebody, and ask them just, hey, do me a favor, subscribe to this show real quick, and everything else. And then I see you, Tasha. You can put that comment if she commented here on the back end. Most women are not taught to date a man without money. I was taught that, however, I learned that my mom spoke for her, her personal experience being a single mother. Yeah, I get it.
And Latasha, if you haven't subscribed, since I stopped to put your comment back up on the screen,
now you got to subscribe. We appreciate. She was on. Yeah, she was on the post as
I
well.
appreciate you. Thank you so
But
much for stopping by.
yeah. Okay, so for real this time, y'all. Thank y'all for joining us. We'll be here. We here every week and imparting always this time for real. Remember, remember, remember. Be free.
Be free
to be you.
To be you.
We'll see y'all next time.
We'll see y'all next week.